My name is Paige, and I'm 27 years old. The reason why I'm able to live life to the fullest every day is because of my Aunt Audrey on my mother's side. There was a time during the new year when I was young, and we went to Aunt Audrey's house. When I was about to brush my teeth, I noticed something strange. I saw a tube of garlic paste on the washstand. I couldn't find the toothpaste, so I showed the tube of garlic paste to Aunt Audrey.
Oh my, that's embarrassing. I can't believe I did it again.
After saying that, Aunt Audrey opened the refrigerator and found the toothpaste in the space for condiments.
Oh my, that was disaster averted. If you didn't notice that it was garlic paste and used it as a toothpaste, your cute little mouth will stink like my husband's breath when he comes home from the bar.
I'm glad I noticed that it was garlic paste before everyone woke up and started using it as toothpaste.
Yes, that's right. Thanks to you for being an early riser, Paige. With that said, here you go, your New Year's gift.
Wow, thank you so much, Aunt Audrey. Huh? I think I heard a crisp when she handed it to me. Whoa, it's dried seaweed.
What? Oh my, what am I doing? When I looked at the plate on the table, there are bills on it.
Aunt Audrey, please calm down. You're always in a hurry. That's why you make mistakes, you know. Just like what happened, Aunt Audrey is always hasty, so she gets things mixed up funnily a lot. But her hastiness aside, she is a very kind aunt who always takes care of me with a smile on her face. I love my aunt. However, right after this, I ended up having a huge problem. My family consists of my parents and me and my younger sister, Sienna. Sienna always got a perfect score in her exams in elementary school. Also, she remembers the car plate numbers of strangers as well as phone numbers. Even if she only hears them once, she remembers them correctly, and she doesn't forget everything she learned at all. Seeing that ability that my younger sister has, our parents were curious about our intelligence quotients, and so she asked us to take an IQ test. The results showed that I had an average IQ. However, they discovered that Sienna has a 130 IQ. At first, I thought that was really amazing, so I praised her by saying that's great. But ever since our parents learned that I was average while my sister was a genius, they started doting on my sister and treated me very differently from her. During dinner, Sienna always has sumptuous dishes in front of her, while they only give me rice and some soup. I don't even get a good morning and a good night. What's even worse is that on my birthday, it was the first day of a consecutive holiday. In the morning, my parents came to my room and said,
Paige, your father and I, together with Sienna, are going to Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming because it looks like Sienna is interested in learning more about it by actually seeing it.
Huh?
We'll be going there by car, but if you sit in the back seat, Sienna won't have the space to place the books she'll be bringing, so you'll just take up space. That's why we're sorry, but we're gonna ask you to stay at home for a few days.
What? But wait, today is my birthday.
Wait, really? I forgot.
That's horrible. While I was having a conversation with my parents, Sienna walked into my room and said,
Mom and Dad, hurry up. I heard about a birthday or something, but you have too much idle talk. I keep on reminding you to always do things rationally, right?
Also, Sienna started referring to me as a useless being and an irrational hindrance. This is the worst birthday ever. Well, I did expect something like this to happen. Halfway through, I gave up expecting them to treat me normally, but after this, another problem occurred. A few hours after the three of them left on their trip, I checked the fridge to see what I'll have for lunch. What? There's no food here. There was no bread or rice, and there was no pasta or instant noodles I could eat. The consecutive holidays will last 4 days. I have no idea when they're coming back home. Since my parents didn't give me any allowance, I already used the monetary gift that I received from my aunt to buy school supplies that I need, so I don't even have a single dollar with me. My first instinct was to call my parents using the payphone, so I checked the phone book to search for my parents' phone number, but I thought that even if I told them there's no food to eat at home, will they really do something about it? They'll probably just complain and hang up the phone. That's when I saw Aunt Audrey's phone number on the same page as my parents. I will call Aunt Audrey and ask for her help, because even if I call my parents, I'm sure they won't care at all. So I walked to the nearest payphone and called my aunt.
Hello? Who is this?
Aunt Audrey fearfully picked up the phone, but maybe it's because I heard her kind voice, I felt like tears were about to roll down my cheeks. Aunt Audrey, it's me, Paige.
Paige? Are you crying? What's wrong? Mom and Dad and Sienna went to Wyoming. They told me to stay at home, but there's no food in the house.
The phone call ended while I was explaining the situation, but Aunt Audrey, who lives far away, hopped on her car and she drove to our house right after that. She then cooked plenty of food for me, and because she was worried about me, she stayed at our house to take care of me. My parents and my younger sister arrived home in the evening the next day.
Big sis, don't threaten me again saying you'll report me to the Ministry of Children's Affairs.
That's right, because forgetting to feed her was not done on purpose.
What? Are you seriously saying that? And you call yourselves parents? What happened to both of you? You weren't like this before. Because we found out that Sienna has an IQ of 130. Frankly speaking, Sienna has a promising future ahead of her compared to her sister. So of course we find her more adorable compared to the other. What?
You don't understand how we feel because you don't have children. Ah, that's right, I have a good idea. How about you try to raise Paige?
How cruel. Just when I was about to beg my parents crying, that's when it happened.
You irresponsible parents. Get a hold of yourselves.
Then Sienna also said something.
You're being very emotional right now. You're an adult, but you don't know how to control your emotions. You're so dumb, Aunt Audrey.
No matter how much Aunt Audrey preached to them, all my parents said was, take Paige home with you.
That's enough. I decided to raise Paige.
What?
Paige, what do you think? You don't want to live with me?
I will become Aunt Audrey's daughter. I don't mind at all. Of course, I very much welcome this idea because I know that I will be happier that way. I will live with you, Aunt Audrey.
I'm glad you'll be living with her, because now I don't have to do the useless job of taking care of Paige.
Thank you so much, Audrey.
Hearing both my parents' response, Aunt Audrey, who was furious just a few minutes ago, was now speechless. And then, in a small tone, she said,
I understand that genius kids are amazing, but I'm sure that there are also difficulties that come with raising a genius. Putting kids' intelligence aside, I doubt that you will find happiness if you treat your children like things.
Just like that, Aunt Audrey and I got out of the house the next morning. However, before leaving, there was something I wanted to say to Sienna and my parents, so I asked Aunt Audrey to wait by the front door and I walked to the living room. I will cut family ties with you. Don't ever get involved with me again. Goodbye. At first, the three of them stared puzzled for a moment, but then Sienna laughed and said,
You're so dumb. You don't have to say that. Don't you get it? We don't want to get involved with you.
That girl is normal after all, because she's not a genius like you, Sienna. So her brain doesn't work like that.
Well, I guess you're right. I'm special after all.
Yes, you are the best daughter. You will go to the best university and get a high-paying job, and you will marry an elite husband, and then you will take the financial burden away, right?
These heartless people. I never want to see their faces again. I slammed the door shut and then I started walking while holding Aunt Audrey's hand. My life together with Aunt Audrey after that was very fulfilling. Ever since I started living together with Aunt Audrey, I can't stop laughing and having tons of fun. She even praised me, saying I'm helping her a lot because I'm always there wherever she messes up things because of her clumsiness. I didn't want to burden Aunt Audrey, especially when it came to finances, so I told her that I would immediately get a job after I graduated from high school. But she told me that since I studied so hard, it would be a waste if I didn't go to college. I wanted to make Aunt Audrey happy and proud of me, so I enrolled in a public university to study education. Thanks to the support of Aunt Audrey, I was able to become a college student. And then, my boyfriend, who was an alumnus of the same college, after we graduated, we got married. At the wedding, Aunt Audrey cried a lot, and when she made a speech in front of everyone, she tried to wipe her tears with a handkerchief. But what came out of her pocket was a sock. So everyone at the wedding laughed and had a great time. And then, 5 years after we got married, I can't believe that I will be able to witness those two bastards cry in front of me. Frankly speaking, I hated them so much for a long time, but now that I am happy with my current life, I don't have any thoughts of taking revenge or punishing them. I did feel refreshed when I heard that they self-destructed. Now, A few months before my husband and I got married, we were already living in the same house as where we are living now. But this day, I visited Aunt Audrey at her house because of a certain reason. However, when I arrived at her house, I saw my least favorite people in the whole wide world. They were faced back from me, and the two of them were shouting the following.
Big sis, allow us to meet Paige. We're in deep trouble.
Huh? They came to take me back only after all these years? When they're the ones who were willingly gave me away to my aunt? Huh. But why are they here for me when they have their favorite daughter, Sienna?
Please, we beg you. She might be a normal child and not a genius, but it's better for us if we have her.
I didn't want to ever talk to these irresponsible parents ever again. But if I don't do anything, I won't be able to get inside Aunt Audrey's house anytime soon. So I made up my mind and determined, I said, I thought I had already cut family ties with the two of you. Just when I thought that my biological parents turned their heads back and saw me, they hurriedly ran towards me and said,
Ah, Paige, we're so glad to see you again. Your father and I thought of getting back together as a family again.
Now let's go back home, Pat.
Then my parents stopped their movements all of a sudden. The reason is because my two little girls who were standing beside me stepped in front of me and spread their arms widely.
Don't come near my mother, because we will protect their pregnant mother.
What? Pregnant?
You have 3 children?
Yes, that's right. My husband and I have 2 adorable daughters. Their names are Penelope and Kiera, and I am currently pregnant with our 3rd child. Just when I thought that my parents turned their back on us and started whispering to each other, they flashed a suspicious smile and said to me in a wheedling voice,
Paige, you did a wonderful job.
Huh?
Actually, Sienna is hopeless, that good-for-nothing daughter. She stopped going to school in high school, and all she does is do dubious research.
It's impossible for Sienna now to be elite, or even get an elite husband. She says that she is not interested in those.
We made her do whatever she wants to get a good education and land a good job, but she never even tries to look for work. We should have given her away instead of you.
You know that I had you and your sister at an advanced age, right? Your father is retiring next month, so with the situation we're in, no one will provide for our living expenses.
Pension is not enough to pay off the debts. Sienna freely used our money like it's infinite. That's why, Paige, let's live together again.
Also, the people my age in the neighborhood already have grandchildren, so I was quite jealous of them, but I'm truly thankful that I have grandkids now. I've had enough of raising a genius daughter. I want ordinary happiness. Ordinary is the best, right? Hello, grandkids. Both of you are so cute.
Paige, what is your husband's job? How much does he earn?
I see what's happening now. Sienna is too intelligent, so she isn't able to make friends. Maybe it's because she is not interested in socializing and in making close bonds with people. She probably had more fun when she was by herself learning stuff. As a result, she is unemployed and is shut in. Huh? What are you saying, old man, old woman?
Huh?
My mother is only Aunt Audrey. I'm not obliged to help the two of you who are strangers.
But...
You abandoned me because of your selfish reasons, and now you're going to abandon Sienna? What in the world do you think children are? Please, don't come near me, or I'll be infested with foolishness.
How rude of you!
Also, could you please not come close to my daughters with your dirty mouth? Penelope and Kiera, I always tell you to not talk to suspicious people, right? Don't listen or talk to them. That old man and old woman are very suspicious. Both of you understand that, right?
Yes!
After both of my daughters innocently said that, both of my parents' faces turned red and shouted,
You! Since it has come to this, I will use all my strength, even if it means I'll have to drag you home.
To my utter shock, my mother grabbed Penelope's hand and my father grabbed Kiera's hand. Hey!
If you want your daughters back, make a promise to us that you will provide for us for the rest of our lives.
That's when it happened. Aunt Audrey finally noticed the ruckus outside her house. She hurriedly ran outside of the house and tried to help my daughters, but... To my shock and amazement, Penelope bit her grandmother's hand.
Ouch!
And then Kiera threw a bucket at her grandfather and it hit his groin area. It was probably very painful because my mother was in tears and she was desperately blowing out puffs of air to her hand, while my father was holding his groin and rolling on the ground. Sweat was dripping from his forehead.
We will protect our mother!
Both my daughters looked so cute when they said that, so Aunt Audrey and I smiled and clapped. Moments after that, we heard the sirens blasting off from police cars.
What? Is that the police?
The two of you were shouting outside my house for quite a while. So, I reported you to the police.
The police officers who stepped out of the police car and with a stern look on their faces, they caught them with a tight grip. My mother cried and went wild telling them to stop, and my father, who was still pained by the blow on his shins, they were both hurled into 10 police cars and were taken to the police station. After that, they were scolded by the police, and it seems like they were set free, but the time has finally come when my father retired. In order to pay off their debts, they started doing part-time jobs, but since my mother doesn't have much job experience in any field anywhere, she was useless, so she got fired in every job. As for my father, he didn't like how his manager, who was decades younger than him, scolded him when he made mistakes. I heard that he quit different part-time jobs only after working there for a few days. They ended up having no choice, so they eventually borrowed money from a bad credit company. So they are now living a life of anxiety, being chased around by scary-looking men. Since they don't have money, they said that they can't afford to take care of Sienna, so she ended up getting kicked out of the house. The other day, I was so shocked when I saw Sienna as a criminal on the news. Apparently, she scammed some people and ended up in jail. As for me, I gave birth to a healthy baby, our third child, and we are living a very happy life together with my family. And oh, by the way, Aunt Audrey came to visit us the other day. Ah, it's a remote controller again.
This paper bag has clothespins inside.
What? Yikes! I put the wrong things in the bag again. Ugh, this is so embarrassing.
You haven't changed at all, Aunt Audrey. I mean, I asked you this question before too, but are you sure you're all right? Of course, me, my husband, and our daughters would be more than happy if you live with us. But if you live alone...
Actually, I think I might be getting married.
What? Really? I haven't heard you talk about this before. This is news to me.
I haven't thought of marriage or anything until now, but seeing you with your children, I thought that I want to get married someday too. I met this man during a volunteer cleanup activity in the neighborhood.
I wish you all the happiness in the world, Aunt Audrey.
My name is Panako, and I'm a 30-year-old stay-at-home mom. This is my husband, Tsubasa. He's 2 years older than me, and we have a 4-year-old son called Taichi. Tsubasa started a company when he was in college, and he still works there as its CEO. He's super busy every day, but he still makes time for my son and I. He's a great father. But not everything in my life was going well. My son recently started going to preschool during the day. But there's been something that's bothering me there. I was hoping she wouldn't show up today, but when I headed to the bus stop right outside my house, she was already there. It was almost as if she was waiting for me. This is Mai, and she has a son the same age as my son. They go to the same preschool together. These two seem to get along very well, but the same can be said for their moms. After I handed Taichi off to one of his teachers, I got ready to run back home so I could avoid starting a conversation with Mai. But I was unfortunately too late for that. Hey, Panico, it's great to see you again. Did you have some time right now? I have a lot of things I want to talk about with you. You know, since we're friends. We never became friends, you idiot! Sorry, but I don't think I have the time today. I think I left the faucet on when I left the house, so I have to run back home. What? But you've used that excuse every day this week. You're definitely lying. Oh shoot, I've been making excuses all week so I didn't have to talk to Mai, but I guess I've been repeating the same one on accident. By the way, did Tachi shrink? He seems shorter than I remember. Oh, don't worry, he's been growing. Oh, I know what it is. He just looks short because Leo is so massive for his age. Oh god, I feel terrible for your son. He's definitely going to end up being short because of your genes. Oh, that's a shame. This is the reason I've been trying to avoid Mai all week. She just says whatever comes to her mind, no matter how rude it may be. Sorry, Panico, I'm just an honest person. I say whatever comes to my mind, and I don't think being honest is a bad thing. In your case, it's definitely a bad thing. I'm 5'4" and my husband is 6'0", so Leo is definitely going to end up being super tall. It's only been a month since I first met Mai, but I'm already tired of her bragging, and I know exactly what she's going to say to me next. Actually, did I mention that my husband works at Oki Trading? He's super handsome and attractive too, so a lot of my friends are into him. He's tall, rich, handsome, and kind. He's basically what you imagine a perfect husband to be. Oh yeah, and we live in a really expensive apartment building. You've already told me that like a million times. Wait, how tall was your husband again? He's 5'6". Oh, that's hilarious. Wait a minute, I think I asked you the same question before. I remember being shocked when I heard that there was men out there that were shorter than 6'0". You know, that's a pretty rare specimen. But man, I can't believe you decided to marry someone like that. Talk about choosing the wrong person, am I right? Oh wait, I guess you don't mind him being so short because your proportions are even worse. God damn it! This is like the 15th time you've said that to me! Don't you ever get tired of repeating the same joke over and over again? And he works at a small company that barely makes 5 figures, right? That's kind of sad. Sorry, I just like being honest with people. I know people don't like hearing the truth sometimes, but I think it can be good for them. Well, this definitely isn't good for me. But after a while, Mai grew satisfied and walked away after saying goodbye. This has been going on for a month now. She looks down on me because she thinks my family isn't as good as hers. She even insults my husband, who she's never even met. She asked me what my husband does for a living when we first met, and I didn't want to tell her that he was a CEO because that seemed a bit pretentious. But now she just throws insults my way every time we see each other while we're waiting at the bus stop. Now I'm on a lunch date with my husband. My husband has work today, but he was able to free up a couple of hours so he could join me for lunch. He's just so thoughtful. But when we walked out of the restaurant after finishing our meals, we ran into someone I did not want to see. And that person is, yep, you guessed it. Oh my god, is that you, Panico? Damn it! I was having such a good time with my husband and now she's going to ruin it all! I was hoping she would just quickly say hi and walk away, but she stopped walking and started inspecting my husband who was standing next to me. Oh wait, is that your husband?
That's right. I'm Panico's husband. Nice to meet you, ma'am.
No, it's definitely not nice to meet her. Oh, I see. You're her husband, huh? I can understand why she didn't want to introduce you to me. What? That makes no sense. We never talked about introducing our husbands to each other in the first place. But man, isn't it embarrassing to have a husband that doesn't even have work on a Wednesday afternoon? What? My husband does have work today. He just took a couple hours off and... Yeah, whatever you say, Panico. But I'm so jealous of you guys. My husband works at the Oki Trading Company, but he doesn't have time to eat lunch with me on Wednesdays. I'm glad you guys both had the time for that. I guess that's just an advantage of having a husband that doesn't make that much in a year. Hey, you better knock it off or else.
Oh, wow. Your husband works at Oki Trading Company, huh? That's pretty cool.
What? I was about to tell Mai to stop insulting us, but that's when my husband joined the conversation. Yes, he's the most incredible man you'll ever meet. He makes $200,000 a year, he's 6 foot, and he owns a place on the 33rd floor of our apartment building. And that's not all. He's handsome and attractive, so everyone loves him. But compared to him, it's kind of sad when you think about it. You're short, poor, and unattractive. And you don't even have a real job you can go to during the day. But I guess he's perfect for someone like you, Panico. What did you just say to me? You better shut the hell up right now or I'm gonna...
Calm down, Panico.
Why is he stopping me again? I have no idea what he's trying to do right now. But it was clear that my husband was enabling Mai's behavior because she showed no signs of stopping. I guess you're used to being insulted like this. What did you just say? I mean, men who are shorter than 6 foot aren't real men. They shouldn't even have rights, in my opinion. I think you should get surgery and make yourself taller or something because you're just an embarrassment at this point.
What?
I couldn't believe my ears. Men need to make more than $100,000 and be over 6 feet if they want to be treated like real men. I guess you don't really care about that, though, because you're short and ugly yourself, Panico. God, I wish I could tape her mouth shut or glue it shut. She needs to shut up. I'm sorry, I'm an honest person, so I just say what comes to mind. But anyway, I hope I can introduce my husband to you guys one day. I bet you guys are going to feel so insecure about yourselves if you ever meet him. He's the perfect man and you're, well, you. It'd be hilarious to see you guys standing next to each other. It looked like Mount Everest and a small hill standing next to each other.
Well, I'm excited to meet him.
And so Maya left the scene with a satisfied look on her face. What was that about, honey? Why do you seem so happy? Don't you realize how rude she was to you?
Well, I just thought she was a hilarious person. Here, let me tell you a little secret.
And that's when my husband whispered something in my ear. Oh, I see. That makes sense. A few days later. Today, my husband and I are at a party hosted by none other than Oki Trading Company. Mai's husband works there, and they're a very large trading firm. That's right. My husband knew that he was going to meet Mai's husband sooner than later, so he didn't say anything back to Mai. But now he's going to tell them the truth about him. What truth? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. Man, this party is so nice, and all the food here is amazing.
Hey, look! They have loads of pudding over there. Want to try some?
Wow, this place is like paradise. We were enjoying ourselves at the party very much, but that's when this person came up to us. Wait, what? Why the hell are you two here at this party? Well, my husband's company is a client of your husband's company, so we were invited today. What? You're definitely lying. There's no way someone like your husband was actually invited to this party. You guys don't belong here. Well, unfortunately for you, we do belong here. That's because my husband's company is pretty important to Oki Trading. What? You just snuck in here because someone told you that they were serving free food here. You better not have used my name to get into this venue. God, you guys are so petty.
Well, we'll see about that.
Why are you grinning like that? You're creeping me out. God damn it. I'm gonna call the security guard and have him kick you guys out. You're not gonna get away with this. You're trespassing on company property right now. Mai was practically yelling at this point, and the people all around us looked in our direction. But that's when someone came running over to us with a mortified look on his face.
Hey, what the hell are you doing? That's a CEO you're talking to!
The man suddenly started yelling at Mai. What? But he's not your CEO. Your CEO is right over there. That's when she pointed to a man that was sitting all the way on the other side of the party venue. But that man continued to yell at Mai and said this.
Just stop talking, all right? This is the CEO of one of our largest clients, the Tsubasa Company.
The Tsubasa Company? I've never heard of them in my life. I bet there's some tiny company. I mean, anyone could become a CEO. All they have to do is start a crappy company. Well, looks like she doesn't understand who my husband is.
You might be right. Our company is still small, and we only have about 15 employees.
Huh! Hear that? They're such a tiny company. Why are you acting like he's some kind of important person? He's clearly not.
Shut the hell up!
What? What's wrong with you? Well, would we really be invited to this party if my husband was a nobody? What? Mai's husband's face turned pale and he started explaining everything to her.
The Tsubasa Company is a very important client of ours that helped us turn our business around when we were about to go bankrupt. We were able to secure a 3-year contract with them, and we're hosting this party today to celebrate that occasion. I told you about this, didn't I?
That's right. We were invited to this party because it was meant to be a celebration of the Tsubasa Company and Oki Trading's partnership. What? But he just said his company is tiny and only has about 15 employees. Oki has over 1,000 employees. You guys are definitely more successful and powerful than them.
That's not how it works. The Tsubasa Company is super successful because they only hire the best talents in the industry. They're a small, tightly knit group that can get anything done through their excellent team synergy. Rumors are that they're able to produce $50 million in revenue every year, though they only have 15 employees.
50 million?
And I bet even you can understand how incredible that is when they only have about 15 employees. And this man right here is the CEO of that company! Well, thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate it. But you're making me blush.
You're too good at this, honey.
I am so sorry about my wife, sir. I'll give her a good scolding once we get back home, so please don't cut ties with us!
When Mai was watching her husband apologize to my husband, she seemed super uncomfortable. She could have just apologized to us then and there, but that wasn't an option for Mai. She was too proud to apologize to anyone. What the hell is your problem? You always say that men who are below 6 feet shouldn't have rights, and that women who are over 80 pounds don't deserve to live. What happened to that, huh?
Hey, stop! That's enough!
Stop acting like I'm the only one in the wrong here.
You better knock it off right now, or I'm gonna take you back home!
Do it! This is really pathetic, you know. You're losing to Panico's husband. You understand how sad that really is? You should start a company too and become more successful than him.
I can't do that! It's not that easy! That's like asking you to lose 15 more pounds!
Shut up! I'm perfect the way I am right now. And besides, I know that you wear secret boots when we go out. You're not really 6 feet, are ya? Without your special boots, you're only 5'10". So that means you're not a real man either. If you want to stop being embarrassed in front of these people, you should grow an inch or two.
You bastard! I know you're actually 90 pounds! You just tell people that you're 80 to make yourself look good!
Shut the hell up, you ugly son of a bitch!
What did you just call me?
What the hell is going on right now? I can't believe how stupid their argument is. It's like I'm listening to two children fighting. But anyway, looks like Mai's husband isn't as amazing as we thought. Well, in that case, it's time to punish them both. You started this!
No, you did!
I've had enough of hearing them bickering at each other, so I yelled this out to get their attention. Shut the hell up and listen to me! And that's when the two children finally shut their mouths. God, you guys are so pretentious, aren't you? Why can't you just respect others for the way that they are? Why do you have to look down on them because you think you're better than them? Can you only see others in terms of how tall, skinny, rich, and handsome they are? Are they just numbers to you? But...
Well...
Shut up! Yes, ma'am!
Sorry. If Orchid has enough money to pay someone like you $200,000 every year, then maybe you guys don't need our help after all.
Wait a minute. Mai might have been lying about her husband's salary, too. Well, I was exaggerating a bit when I said he made $200,000 a year.
I actually only make $80,000 a year.
I knew it! Wait, what? I thought you meant $120,000 a year.
Well, our bonuses got cut this year because our company isn't doing too well.
$80,000, huh? And you're not even 6 feet. Why the hell am I even dating you, huh? You tricked me, didn't you? You bastard! Look, you don't even have a job, so you have no right to complain about how much your husband makes. You should be happy that he's bringing in anything at all. Well, and you're calling him a scammer just because he isn't 6 feet? You're kidding me, right? The average man isn't even 6 feet in this country. And besides, he's not a model or anything, so why do you care so much about how tall he is? And there are plenty of models out there that are shorter than 6 feet but are super popular. Are you saying that those people shouldn't be considered real men? Well... What the hell are you laughing at? You're as bad as your wife, you know?
Wait, what? But I haven't done anything!
You're kidding me, right? The reason your wife is like this is because you always brag to her about how much better your family is compared to other people. Women over 80 pounds are women too, you know? You have to stop acting like we're some kind of thing you can own and insult.
But every popular celebrity weighs less than 80 pounds?
They're lying to you, you idiot. How can you not see that? Besides, women have been growing taller recently, so you can't expect them to weigh less than 80 pounds. That's just a ridiculous fantasy.
But...
God, these two are helpless, aren't they? What the hell are you laughing at? I'm not done with you yet, you know. But, you know what? You guys are perfect for each other. And the reason you have to constantly compare yourselves to others is because you're both insecure and don't love each other at all.
Paniko, I think that's enough for now. We all know how much these two love each other now. So...
Yeah, you're right.
Please, hold on!
We were about to leave, but that's when the CEO of Oki Trading came over to us and apologized.
I am so sorry about this mess. I will make sure that this man is held accountable for his actions, and we'll fire him immediately. So please, could you not void your contract with us?
And it wasn't just the CEO that was apologizing to us. Every single executive that was present at the party came over to us and put their heads down.
Wait, you're firing me? Sir, it's all right. You don't have to fire this man. Me voiding our contract has nothing to do with what this guy said to me.
Oh wow, how kind of him to say that.
Okay then, I guess I won't fire him. But you should be hiring better employees. Wait, what? So, should I fire him then? Sir, please, just go home for today, alright? I am so sorry about this, sir. Please.
And afterwards, Mai and her husband were kicked out of the venue by the security. I guess he ended up getting fired from his job. Mai's husband didn't have a lot of allies in his company because he always treated them terribly. HR was trying to find a reason to fire him, so I guess what he did at the party was a blessing in disguise. And now they're moving out of their expensive apartment building and are getting a divorce. They're in the middle of a nasty legal battle over their son's custody. Hopefully I don't end up like them in the future. But anyway, now that they're out of our lives, things were finally back to normal.
Maybe I should get a pair of secret boots.
What?
Well, you want your husband to be taller, right?
No, I don't. You're perfect just the way you are, honey. And besides, how tall you are doesn't even matter to me. I'll love you still, even if you shrink to my size.
Wait, really?
Of course! Hey, Tai Chi! You'll still love Dad no matter how tall he is, right?
Yeah, of course. If you end up being shorter than me, then I can carry you around.
That's right. Love isn't about looks or how tall someone is. It's about loving them for who they are. My name is Paige. I'm a 33-year-old housewife. I'm living together with my husband, Simon, who is 5 years older than me. I have a good relationship with my parents-in-law, who are living in the same neighborhood as us. Honestly, I don't get along too well with my father-in-law, but my mother-in-law is a very kind and good person. During my days off, I hang out with my mother-in-law a lot. We go shopping together and we go to the cinema to watch movies together. We have so much fun together. Simon has 2 older brothers, Timothy and James. They're both single. Timothy is a lawyer and James works overseas for a foreign securities company. Timothy and James are very busy men, so they don't visit their parents as much as they want to. That is why they worry about me and help me out since I live near their parents' house. I wish these happy days with my mother-in-law go on forever. That's what I was hoping for. However, one day, those happy memories suddenly crumbled. Ouch! It hurts! Paige, help me! Oh my god, Mrs. Jones! My mother-in-law suddenly collapsed on the floor. Because I happened to be visiting my mother-in-law's house that day, I was able to witness what happened and I was able to call an ambulance immediately. Thankfully, she was brought to the hospital ASAP. However, my mother-in-law had to stay at the hospital for a while. Unfortunately, the doctor told us that my mother-in-law would need to be nursed because she won't be able to perform basic tasks on her own anymore. Paige, I'm so sorry for always bothering you. Oh, no, please don't worry about it, Mrs. Jones. I don't feel bothered at all. What's important is that I hope you get well soon. Nothing was damaged when it came to my mother-in-law's head. However, she can't move her hands and feet like she used to before. She can't even read books anymore, or even do any of the handicrafts that she loves. Of course, in that condition she's in, she can't go shopping or go to the cinema to watch movies together. She also can't send messages to me like she used to. What should I do? There's a time limit for visitations at the hospital, so my mother-in-law will probably feel lonely if she lies on the hospital bed all alone without anyone to talk to or joke about with. I wonder if there's a way for my mother-in-law and I to have a conversation without using social media. I wanted to continue communicating with my mother-in-law just as much as we used to before she became an inpatient at the hospital. I thought long and hard of a solution to my problem. Then a wonderful idea popped up. Ta-da! A recording device! The idea is for my mother-in-law and I to have a recording device each, and we will record what we want to say to each other, or even the little things that happen during the day that we want to share. We will then exchange our devices when I visit her next time. That was the idea I had. What do you think, Mrs. Jones? It's a good idea, isn't it? It's a kind of communication using recording devices. Kind of like sending letters to each other, but in the form of a voice. This way, I'll still be able to check on my mother-in-law on how she's doing, even during the days when I can't visit her at the hospital. Also, since my mother-in-law likes talking, she will probably have a better time at the hospital that way instead of getting bored over there alone doing nothing. My mother-in-law was very happy and excited about my suggestion. That's how me and my mother-in-law's voice letters started. When I arrive home from visiting my mother-in-law at the hospital, I take out the voice recorder from my bag and I listen to my mother-in-law's recorded voice. Paige, the food they served at the hospital today was tofu hamburger. I can't manage to eat properly by myself anymore, so the nurse helped me to bring the food to my mouth. Tofu burger has fewer calories compared to meat steak. I guess that's better because it's like a diet for me. Paige, do you add some other ingredients to your burger patty? When I was younger and was still cooking for my children, I used to add some chickpeas and beans and even seaweed for additional nutrition. I then recorded my reply to my mother-in-law's message. I added finely chopped mushrooms in my burger patty. It adds volume to it and extra flavor. It's so delicious. When you come home from the hospital, I'll cook a burger with mushrooms for you. So look forward to it, okay? My mother-in-law is very kind to me, so of course I naturally want to do anything that'll make her happy. Honestly, I don't want to do anything for my father-in-law who does nothing but complain all the time.
Huh? You cooked hamburger steak again? Meat is too heavy for old people like me, so you should think more carefully next time before cooking. And what's this weird texture I'm chewing?
Oh, that! I added some finely chopped mushrooms inside. The other day, Mrs. Jones and I talked about...
What weird food is this? Just cook the food as it's supposed to be done. Don't innovate or something. I only want what I'm used to. It will taste bad if you experiment on stuff.
My father-in-law is now living alone in their house. Since my mother-in-law was admitted to the hospital, he doesn't know how to do any of the chores at home, so my mother-in-law asked me to take care of him. During the weekends, I go to my parent-in-law's house and I clean the house, do the laundry, and cook food for my father-in-law. He's still healthy, so I think he should do the chores by himself. However, I don't want my beloved mother-in-law to worry about anything, so I end up doing all these things by myself. I just wish my father-in-law would at least show his appreciation for my efforts. My father-in-law firmly believes that women should do the chores. He has old values from the 60s, so even now that his wife is in the hospital, he doesn't lift a finger to clean the house. Also, he always complains how I do the chores. What's worse is that my father-in-law is not the only one who doesn't know how to do any of the chores at home.
What? We're having takeout for dinner again? Paige, aren't you being a little lazy with cooking these days?
I got no choice but to order food. I go to work just like you, and during the weekends I visit your mother at the hospital and I take care of all the chores and your father in their house too. So I can't do all the chores at home with all that.
I'm thankful about how you're doing all that, but I can't have you not do the chores at home. Wait a second. Are you using my mother and father as excuses to not do the chores at home? How unfair and lazy of you to make excuses like that!
Seriously? You're awful. I'm doing the best that I can. My husband and I both have jobs, but he doesn't help me with the chores at home at all. He relies on me too much to do everything for him. What's even worse is that he's being very irrational and complains all the time. If I knew this would happen, I should have taught Simon how to do the chores at home before my mother-in-law got sick and ended up staying at the hospital. My mother-in-law said that she regrets not teaching her husband how to do the chores. She apologized to me via the recording device we exchanged. Paige, I'm very truly sorry because I failed to teach my husband and son how to do the chores at home. You're doing all the chores at home without the help of these two grown men. If there ever comes a time where I can't take care of myself anymore and I need to be taken care of the whole day, please don't hesitate to send me to a nursing home, okay? I'm worried that if I go home and when I get better, you might have more to do in addition to your already busy schedule. Please allow me to discuss this topic with you the next time you visit me, okay? My mother-in-law's a very serious situation right now, but she keeps on worrying about me. My eyes welled up and my tears started rolling down my cheeks. Come to think of it, my mother-in-law is right. I don't think that my father-in-law will be able to take care of her, not with that lazy attitude of his. But I think that it's impossible for me to take care of her when she goes back home. I have a lot on my plate already. If I add this to my daily agenda, I might just burst. I decided to ask for advice from Simon, my husband. Simon, about your mother's discharge from the hospital?
Yeah, Mom will soon be back home from the hospital. I guess it's about time that we think about what to do when that time comes. After she gets discharged from the hospital, she still needs to be nursed. So I guess we'll have to live together with my parents, and we'll take care of them.
Wait, what? What do you mean by we will take care of them? After your mother gets discharged from the hospital, it'll be impossible for her to live in their house. Your father doesn't do any chores in their house. How do you expect him to take care of your mother? And you say that we will take care of her, but you never do anything to help. If we live together with your parents, I'll have to carry all the burden.
So what's your suggestion then?
I think that there's no other choice but for your mother to go to a nursing home.
What? How could you suggest that? Do you hate my mother so much? I thought you two were very close. How dare you say that she should stay at the nursing home?
No, I don't mean anything bad. I love your mother, but the reality is that I can't possibly be the only one taking care of her. Your mother actually wants to go to a nursing home.
She only said that because she doesn't want to hurt your feelings. You don't even know that?
Whose fault does he think it is that his mother said that? I screamed inside my head. Anyway, let's discuss this with your older brothers, Timothy and James. We need to think about how to take care of your mother after she gets discharged from the hospital. I can handle taking care of your mother if there's no other choice, but I don't plan on having to look after you and your father as well.
This is draining my energy. You're talking too much. All right.
Simon answered tartly. If I had to take care of just Simon and his father, I would have already been on a plane right now back to my parents' home. But if I do that, my mother-in-law might become sad, so I can't make such a bad decision. My mother-in-law is already very weak physically because of her illness. I don't want to give her more problems. That's what I thought, so I continued to enjoy the situation. My mother-in-law finally got discharged from the hospital, and because I persuaded my husband desperately to discuss the matter with his father and older brothers, it's finally been decided that my mother-in-law will go to a nursing home with a good reputation. My mother-in-law gets discharged from the hospital today, and she will move in straight to the nursing home. Simon said that he will deal with the discharge process, and he will also be the one to send his mother to the nursing home. So I decided that I would go straight to the nursing home and help with the preparation to welcome my mother-in-law into her new residence. My mother-in-law is probably about to leave the hospital and head to the nursing home. I guess it's about time I head there too. However, when I was just about to leave the house, my phone rang and it was from my husband.
Hello? Paige?
Hello? Is everything okay? How's the discharge process done?
Yeah, I already took care of it. Anyway, I'm on my way home with my mom. So you also head to my parents' home, okay?
What?
I thought about it, but how about we just don't send her to the nursing home? Let's just take care of her at home. And let's take this as an opportunity to live together with them.
What are you saying? We already agreed on sending her to a nursing home. This is not what we agreed on.
Because I thought that if I told you this, you would disagree. So I secretly canceled the contract to our apartment, and I already called in the movers to send all our stuff. I thought that since you'll be busy from now on with taking care of my mom, I took the liberty to do the administrative procedures for you. I'm such a good husband, aren't I?
Simon sounded so excited and expected to be thanked for what he did. Who in the world will thank him for such selfish behavior? And did he mention that I will become busy with taking care of his mother? What in the world is he talking about? Wait a minute, Simon! Listen!
Oh, sorry, the doctor's calling me. I'll hang up now, okay? See ya!
Simon made an excuse and he dropped the call. Oh my, I need to pick up my mother-in-law no matter where she is. I shouldn't waste time worrying. Anyway, I should go straight to my parent-in-law's house and I will grill my husband and his father with questions. Without a moment's delay, I headed straight to their house. And then, as a result of Simon's actions, we had to move out of our house and move into his parents' house. Our apartment's contract had already been cancelled, and the nursery home where my mother-in-law was supposed to go to was already cancelled by my stupid husband. I can't possibly leave my mother-in-law unattended, so I had to do everything within the limited time I had in a day, and with the limited amount of energy that I had. Thus, my 3-part life started. A life of going to work, doing all the chores at home, and taking care of my mother-in-law, and my husband, and my father-in-law. 3 months after my mother-in-law was discharged from the hospital, time flew by so fast. These past 3 months have been like living in a nightmare. Ever since we started living together with my parents-in-law, I tried balancing work and taking care of my mother-in-law. It's already exhausting doing both, but my husband doesn't have any plans to help me with the chores. Even after we moved into his parents' house, of course my father-in-law is behaving the same as his son. Morning, noon, and night, I am busy with work and nursing care. I felt overwhelmed with everything, and I eventually got sick. I had to take a temporary leave of absence from work. Thankfully, my boss was understanding and I was able to take a nursing care leave. However, both my husband and father-in-law strongly say that nursing should be done by the wife. They pushed the job to me and never even bothered to lift a finger. However, I don't have the time to even argue with them about it. My mother-in-law knows me very well, that I am very exhausted with everything, including nursing her. She apologizes to me every day and cries. I don't want to burden my mother-in-law any more than she already is, because her body is becoming very weak with her illness. This shouldn't be how it's supposed to be. I need to do something about this situation. That's what I've been thinking, but since I'm so exhausted every day, I couldn't find a way out of this misery. 3 months later, Mother-in-law! I desperately clung to my mother-in-law's coffin and I cried my heart out. Half a year after living together with my parents-in-law and nursing her worrying about me might have contributed to that. But my mother-in-law's body became feeble by the day and she passed away.
It happened so fast. It wasn't long from after she got out of the hospital. It all happened so fast.
Simon and his father, who were preparing for the funeral, were standing there chatting?
But you know what? I can't proudly say that we did the best we could. Ah, that's right. You and me. We did the best we could do. I feel sad that she's gone now, but she's probably fulfilled. Definitely, without a doubt. I hope that she rests in peace.
Wait a second, did I just hear what I just heard? Hey! What did they just say? How delusional are they? Hearing their conversation with my back turned to them, I was trembling with rage inside me. Did the best they can. What best? When? They made me do everything from doing the chores to nursing my mother-in-law. How dare they proudly say that they feel fulfilled? They didn't even lift a single finger at all to help. They never even served their food after I cooked everything. Nor did they even bring the plates they used as the sink and washed them. They never even took their own socks out of the drawer by themselves. I thought that if I opened my mouth and said something, I might say something harsh because of how I'm feeling right now. The two of them left without me being able to say anything at all. I looked at my mother-in-law, sleeping in the coffin, and I promised to myself, I will never forgive those two for pretending to do all the hard work despite not helping me take care of my mother-in-law. I need to correct their mistake, because if not, my mother-in-law won't be able to rest in peace. But what exactly should I do to achieve that? Even if I told everyone that those two didn't help with anything, I wonder if anyone would believe me. I don't have any proof that I nursed my mother-in-law, but I guess I also don't have proof that I didn't do it. If we get into a dispute and the argument gets nowhere, there's a possibility that people will think that I'm the bad guy. At a loss of how to proceed, I looked at my mother-in-law. I noticed that she looked very pale, so I thought of applying lipstick on her. I wanted to go peacefully after all. Alright, where's the lipstick? I searched for the lipstick inside my mother-in-law's makeup pouch. I was about to take the lipstick out from the pouch when I discovered something useful. Fast forward an hour and the funeral started. Simon and I, together of course with my widowed father-in-law and my brother-in-law, flew all the way here to attend the funeral. The many relatives they had also attended. My late mother-in-law had plenty of friends. So many of hers attended the funeral too. My co-workers as well as Simon co-workers were also there, so the funeral hall was very crowded. I was the only one who patiently waited for the moment that was about to happen. Then that moment finally arrived. It was the moment when my widowed father-in-law stood in line together with his 3 sons and started greeting.
First of all, I would like to thank everyone for joining us on this important day. It wasn't long after my wife got diagnosed with the illness when she went to heaven before me. But thanks to our efforts of taking care of her, she was able to go in peace. We desperately nursed her, and there were very difficult times. But when I think about doing it for my mother...
All lies. The attendees who knew nothing about what was happening sympathized with them. There were even people who were wiping their tears off. But little do they know that something is about to happen that will dry out those tears like the Sahara Desert. I pressed play on the recording device. Now, mother-in-law in heaven, please punish them accordingly. Paige, thank you very much. My mother-in-law's voice echoed across the room. The attendees were shocked to hear her voice. They looked around to see where the voice was coming from. It's been about half a year now since I collapsed and was taken to the hospital. I'm truly thankful for your care and support, Paige. Because I failed to teach my husband and son how to do the chores at home, you're doing all the chores at home without the help of those 2 grown men. They mistakenly think that men should not be doing any help at home. It's my fault for not teaching them. I'm truly sorry, Paige. You take care of me every day despite looking very exhausted, because you still have to go to work and manage everything else at home. But those 2 don't even do anything to help you at all. You have no idea how many years I've shed in my bed because of their behavior.
What? Wait a second! Why am I hearing her voice? Where is it coming from?
Paige, it hurts me to say this, but I think that if you divorce my son, Simon, and get out of here, I'll be sad when you're gone, but this is for your sake, you know? After listening to this recording, contact my eldest son, Timothy, immediately, and tell him about how Simon didn't help you with anything at home. Also, tell him about how Simon decided that he and you will move in with us without any discussion, as well as how he made you do all the nursing that needed to be done. I'm sure that Timothy will help you as a lawyer. When I looked at my brother-in-law, Timothy, he nodded at me. Also, as for the money that I invested in the securities company where James works, I want to give all my assets to you, Paige, as a token of my gratitude to you. Consult with James about this, okay? I'm sure he will deal with the situation properly. When I looked over at James, he nodded in my direction. My mother-in-law's speech continued. There is one more thing I want to tell Timothy and James. It seems like Simon told them that he will need money for my nursing expenses at a nursing facility, so they handed him money for that. But I didn't end up going to the nursing home, but I haven't heard or seen him handing back the money. There's a possibility that Simon used all the money to himself. Simon made a face showing that he was in trouble. Just as my mother-in-law suspected, Simon apparently didn't give back the money and instead he used it all for his benefit. His 2 older brothers looked at him with fury in their eyes. Feeling the tension in the air, I can tell he's pretty screwed after this. Paige, I don't think I have plenty of time left in this world, but I am truly grateful to you for everything you've done for me. You're like a real daughter to me. I've had a happy life because of you. Thank you. Mother-in-law! I clung to my mother-in-law's coffin. In the background, what my husband and my father-in-law had been doing was exposed in front of everyone who attended, so my father-in-law shrunk out in embarrassment. All the relatives and friends and acquaintances were whispering. Simon was cringing in fear because his wrongdoings had been exposed. Timothy and James were scolding him in total rage. The hall was in complete chaos. But I didn't mind all those things, because my beloved mother-in-law said that I'm like her real daughter. Mother-in-law, I'm truly honored and happy that I was your daughter. Thank you. Thank you so much, mother-in-law. After my mother-in-law's funeral, Simon and I got divorced. Timothy, who received a message from his mother, helped me out with the process. He made sure that Simon paid a huge amount of alimony. As for my mother-in-law's money with the securities company with James, it's actually an inheritance money, so I can't legally receive it directly. However, James scolded my father-in-law, and he made sure that my father-in-law gave me the investment equivalent. And then as for me, since my mother-in-law is not in the house anymore, I don't have any regrets with Simon or the house. After the funeral ended, I immediately hopped on that train and headed back home. Those grown men don't know how to do a single chore. So after I left, the house immediately became very dirty and stinky. Apparently, it's now like a dumpster filled with all sorts of insects and weird smells. Also, since their relatives and neighbors all attended the funeral, their wrongdoings spread like wildfire, so nobody wants to help them now. As for me, after I escaped my living hell with those two, I returned to the company where I had been on nursing care leave. Using the recording device as a talisman, I will open up a brighter future and start fresh with my new life.
My name is Paige. I'm a 30-year-old office worker. I married my husband John 3 years ago. After my father-in-law passed away, my husband and I started living together with my mother-in-law. Since my husband is an only child, my mother-in-law is attached to him. She calls him cute little John, from dawn to dusk. I'm so fed up with listening to her say that every day. But well, I guess John is not that bad. Saying his mother is the best in the world, and his mother is the best. Before we started living with my mother-in-law, my husband and I had quite a good relationship as a couple, I would say. However, ever since we started living with her, I feel like an outsider, so I don't feel at ease. But actually, I have a more serious problem compared to this. Actually, my father back home got sick, and he is in and out of the hospital a lot. During the weekends, I make time to go visit my parents in their house, but...
Paige, don't tell me you're thinking of visiting your parents again this weekend. You just visited them the other week.
I'm sorry, my father is currently very sick, so I want to be by his side as much as I can. My mother-in-law doesn't like the fact that I visit my parents back home almost every week.
You come home from work very late during the weekdays, so you're not doing anything to help in the house. Since you married my son, this is now your home. Understood?
I'm sorry. I don't understand why she's complaining about me not doing any chores at home, because I always clean the house and do the laundry every day before I head off to work, and I also cook dinner after coming home from work. As for the chores during the weekends, I think it'll be nothing more than just to cook for both John and his mother.
That's right, Paige. Since you are my wife now, your job is to stay in our house.
My job is to stay in the house. What era is he even talking about? I'm doing what I need to do around the house, so I want them to at least allow me to freely meet my father. I mean, more importantly, don't they feel at least a little bit of worry or sympathy? Well, that's what I thought, but I'll be in more trouble if they don't let me visit my parents. So whenever I need to go visit my parents, I try to convince them every single time.
To marry such a selfish wife. John, you got the short end of the stick.
Even when my mother-in-law spats those words at me, my husband never rescues me from his mother. Instead, he says the following.
Well, Mom is right. I chose the wrong wife. I guess I got the wrong end of the stick. If I find a second one, I hope I'll be lucky next time around.
A second one? He wasn't the kind of person who said stuff like this when we just got married. John used to be a very kind husband who always took care of me. However, ever since we started living together with his mother, it seems like John has changed into a different person. In my head, I thought of 7 letters: divorce. But right now, my priority is my father. In the meantime, I put up with it and let it pass. But then one day, about a year after living this kind of life, my father passed away and went to heaven. It felt like a hole appeared in my heart. However, instead of comforting me, my husband and mother-in-law said something rude to me.
Paige, when are you going to stop being in that cowardly state? It has already been a week since the funeral, so stop being depressed and get back up.
That's right, Paige. You don't need to go visit your parents in their house anymore, so we'll make sure that you do the chores here properly.
I was speechless after hearing these insensitive comments.
That's right. You finally have the time to do what wives do.
That's right. Now that your father's not here anymore, I feel relieved.
What did he just say? He feels relieved that he's not here anymore? Do these people even realize what they're saying? Hey, How could you say such things? How dare you say that about my beloved father? I've been holding everything in until this point. Both of you have been making such rude comments about me and my parents. Get a hold of yourselves. When I talked back to them, my mother-in-law got angry, even though I'm the victim and she's the offender.
What? Holding it in? We're the ones who have been holding it in. You're my son's wife, but you're rarely in the house, and you do whatever you want. I'm glad that this is finally over.
We're going out of our way to treat you kindly, but why are you talking back to us like that? You should be the one getting a hold of yourself.
What? What is wrong with these people? I was completely pissed off, so then I locked myself in my room and spent most of my time alone. I guess it's impossible now to continue living with them. And that's what I thought at that time. But I couldn't bring myself to rise from the shock of losing someone I love. Days passed and then weeks. A few weeks later, at my parents' house, my mother and my sister, who is 5 years older than me, worked in the procedures regarding the inheritance that our father left us. Investing is one of my father's hobbies, so we didn't expect this, but he has left a hefty amount of inheritance money. And since I am one of the daughters, it seems like I'll be able to receive quite a high amount. But I don't want inheritance money. All I wanted was for him to live longer. Not considering and not minding what I've been through, my husband and his mother are living in their universe, calling each other my cute little Johnny and Mommy. One day, my husband and his mother went to the mall. When they arrived home, they were carrying plenty of shopping bags with them. Whoa, that's plenty of shopping. Are those all luxury brand items? Why do you have those with you? What the two of them brought home are all from luxury brands? I wonder how much they spend on these designer bags and clothes. I was very worried about our finances, so I asked John how much they were, to which he replied,
Hey, Paige! Your father saved up a lot of money, right? You're also going to receive a portion of the inheritance, right?
Huh? Well, right, but... Hearing my response, my mother-in-law then said,
Oh, yes. I told you. We're so lucky. With this, we'll be able to do as much shopping as we want.
What? Lucky? What in the world are they talking about? I had no idea what they were talking about. My brain went empty and I looked very confused. While the two of them are excitedly talking about renovating the house and also buying a new car. Wait a minute, what? Are they counting on my father's inheritance to pay for all of this? You've got to be kidding me. Mrs. Johnson, my father's inheritance is mine. Then John gave a suspicious look.
Huh? What are you saying? Yours is mine, and of course your money is my money, right?
Yes, that's right. Since you married into our family, of course the rights will be ours.
What? Since when did I become their possession? However, the two of them didn't realize, or if they did, they didn't mind that I was angry, because they were on cloud 9.
Inheritance money is the best. I'm so glad that your father passed away.
You're right. Thanks to that, we're now filthy rich. Woohoo! Inheritance money is the best.
Ugh, they're glad? It's the best? How could they say that? I couldn't hold my anger in anymore. Because of the amount of anger in my heart, all the sadness that I've been feeling were all washed away out into this Pacific Ocean. Get a hold of yourselves. My father did not pass away just so you can lavishly spend his hard-earned money. However, my words didn't seem to reach the ears of these two on cloud 9.
My cute little Johnny, I want to go to Hawaii.
Hawaii, that sounds great. We should go to a travel agency right away.
I can tell that they are planning to spend lavishly. Ugh, this is a hopeless case. I can't deal with the stupid mother and son. Leaving behind the mother and son who have high expectations, I walked out the door and slammed it shut because I didn't want to see their overly happy state for the wrong reasons. That night, when the anger had simmered away, the shopping bags with the products still inside the bags were all scattered all over the living room. I can't believe they bought all this luxury brand stuff. There's no way I'm paying for them. While I was complaining and letting steam off again, I cleaned up the area and put away the wrapping paper and receipts. I then noticed something strange. The clothes that John bought were mostly from brands where young women go to buy. I don't think my mother-in-law will buy such clothes because they're a bit too young for her. Most of the clothes look like they're meant for younger women. You've got to be kidding me. Is this what I think it might be? So the next day, I went to a detective agency and requested an investigation. I then found out that my suspicions were spot on. John was having an affair with a younger woman from work. That bastard. I can't believe he's been enjoying himself while I was having the most difficult time of my life. He even uses his wife's money to buy stuff for his secret lover. What in the world is he even thinking? I had no feelings of love left for my husband anymore. There's nothing left but hate and rage. I was depressed these past few weeks, so I haven't really done anything about him. But because of this, I'm more motivated now. Since it has come to this, I will make sure that he regrets what he did to me. And with that said, I decided to take my revenge on my husband and mother-in-law. After that, my husband and mother-in-law continued to buy plenty of stuff using their credit cards. While looking at them do that, I was preparing for my revenge. You better brace yourselves. Then, the long-awaited critical day arrived. I'm going to invite the two of you to a special place. Hearing those lines, both of them thought that I'd take them to a special restaurant.
Oh my, really? That's very thoughtful of you, Paige. I'm so excited.
Huh? You're inviting us somewhere? It's unusual for you to do this for us. What do you think I should wear? Maybe a suit and tie?
They were in Cloud 9 again, and soon we arrived at the place. It's actually around here. I then walked inside a building on the street that is lined with rows and words of office buildings.
Hey, all I see are just plain old office buildings. I thought we were going to a restaurant.
Huh? This is where I wanted to invite you to. I stopped in front of a door of a certain lawyer's office. There's a sign saying Panicle Lawyer's Office. All right, please come over here. When I pushed the door open, a lawyer in his 40s were waiting for us.
Pleased to see you. I am a lawyer of Panicle Office.
The lawyer handed John a business card. My husband gave me a confused look.
Huh? A lawyer? Why are we here?
I've been thinking about clarifying things up. Lately, you've been spending money quite lavishly, but I wonder if you can actually afford all those spendings. My husband and mother-in-law stared at me, puzzled by what I was saying.
Huh? You're asking us if we can afford... What are you saying? But you have inheritance money.
But, well, my inheritance money is my inheritance money, and...
What are you saying, you stupid daughter-in-law? If you receive an inheritance from your parents, that will of course belong to my husband too, right? Also, I'm your parent too, so I also have the right.
These two really are misunderstanding this. Since it doesn't seem like you understand it, I'll leave it to the expert to explain it to you, okay?
Well, as a conclusion, the two of you do not have the right to inherit.
What an excellent lawyer. He started by saying the conclusion first. That's what I'm talking about.
What?
Why?
Both of them froze because of shock.
The inheritance from Ms. Paige's father can only be inherited by his direct family. Since you are not related to his family, you, of course, do not have the right to receive inheritance. Also, Ms. Paige is seeking divorce.
Hearing what the lawyer said, John's face turned pale.
What? Why?
That's right, because I can't live together with the two of you, because you're both insensitive. Besides, even after I'm gone, you'll be fine, right, John? Because you have another lover. Don't tell me that you're just with me because you're after my money. Such a one-sided convenience shouldn't be, right?
My cute little Johnny. What does she mean by another lover?
Based on the results of the investigation, Mr. John Johnson is having a love affair. So the reason why Mrs. Paige wants a divorce is clear. Because of that, we will of course request compensation from you.
Both my husband and his mother were flustered because of the straightforward explanation by the lawyer.
But Paige, the affair was just a fleeting lapse of fancy. Please forgive me.
That's right, Paige. We're family, aren't we? It's just right that you share some of your inheritance, right?
What? What in the world is she saying? She has never treated me like family, and never in a million years will I ever look after my cheating husband. All right, now, that's settled. We'll get a divorce. If you have anything else to say to me, you can do that through my lawyer.
Paige, please, at least pay for the credit card bill for this month.
Does he think I'm stupid that I will pay for his impulse purchases? I walked out of the room while the two of them continued to complain. I will never go back to that house ever again. Farewell to the two of them. I feel refreshed. After that, with the help of the lawyer, I was able to get divorced. As for John, who bought a new car and even started renovating their house, his payment was not only delayed, but he also had to pay alimony to me, so he instantly ended up knee-deep in debt. His boss and colleagues found out that he had an affair with one of his co-workers, and he got fired. Of course, his love also dumped him. He couldn't find his next job, so he started working as a day laborer. However, he started to get addicted to alcohol and gambling, so he ended up getting chased down by debt collectors. As for my mother-in-law, she started doing part-time jobs, but because of her bad personality and her negligence of her work, she gets fired after a few days no matter what kind of work she does. I heard that now, my ex-husband and his mother sold their house, and they are currently living in a shabby and dingy apartment. They seem to be huddled together and live miserable these days. As for me, I came back to my parents' house, and I am currently living together with my mother and my older sister. As for the inheritance money that my father left for us, we decided that our mother would use it so that she could live freely. It might feel lonely living without my father, but I would like to learn my mom's secret to living a very long time.
It's about half a month now since your father passed away, but your father is still alive and healthy inside my heart.
You're right, Mom, and he'll probably get angry if all I feel is lonely.
Don't worry, because Dad will always be by our side. Right now, he is. Look, he's even smiling behind you right now.
What?
Just kidding.
Jokes turn into something other than a joke.
Phoebe, when you're here every day, I feel very happy and I feel truly blessed. You truly are my cute daughters, no matter how much you've grown. I guess I should live longer for your father. And for you, my precious daughters, as well.
Thank you for watching! What kind of crazy people will we get to see next? Stay tuned for more!